We were all veterans. Once we were in service to our country. Never thought after my own mental illness that I would be of service to anyone again. Now we are being called upon once again. This time around, we will become a recovery army, an army of caregivers.
In the early 90s, a peer support program was being developed within the mental health system to address the needs of a growing population of consumers wanting to participate in their own recovery. When the model was first introduced to some veterans, there was an overwhelming response. Veterans enthusiastically incorporated the program into their own treatment of care. In 2001, the peer support for veterans was thriving. By 2002, it emerged fully as a program called Vet to Vet. To date, there are over 20 sites doing Vet to Vet, with approximately 15 of those being at VAs. They are happening in Los Angeles, Massachusetts, Providence, Rhode Island, reaching across towns and cities, with new groups being added every month. While veterans are well known to experience PTSD from combat, like other Americans, they also suffer from serious mental illness. Veterans who have worked within the groups now advocate for its continued growth. Peer to peer, vet to vet. The Department of Veterans Affairs in West Haven, Connecticut is both operating and evaluating a vet-to-vet program at the Auraria Community Care Center.
While we are doing research on this, we are trying to study the vet-to-vet program. I don't think it stands or falls on the results of that research. This is not a new pill or a new therapy. This is a transformation of the system so that the people who are served by the system have a voice in the system and know that the people who are running the system are hearing from voices like theirs.
I spent a full 3 years in Southeast Asia. It was around the end of the war.
And I was in the other combat zone. I was in the militarized zone in Korea.
Holon, California, in a post called Fort Hunter Liggett. It's an experimental post where they try out new Army equipment.
And I just became more and more brokenhearted. It just seemed like we were killing people, they were killing us, and I had this psych break where all of a sudden I had just staggering levels of anxiety. I felt like I could see into people's thinking that were with me. Their faces had this.
You was in Southeast Asia one day, and within 4 or 5 days you were home. No debriefing, no nothing. You're back, you're on the street.
But the war, you're still going through it because you got to live it. You know, you got to live it, and you're going to live it because only you know what you've been through. Nobody else knows what you've been through.
When I came here to the hospital, I had an alcohol and drug problem, and it wasn't until that stuff got cleared up that I realized I had a mental illness problem.
I was too broken to actually be part of civilization. I could have died from being in the elements if it hadn't have been for Mr. Ruiz. These representatives from the New Mexico Veterans Service Commission came to visit me, and Mr. Ruiz was one of those representatives. And he felt very badly that a combat veteran could have ended up like this. If I needed somebody to talk to, he was there. He really helped me out. And I understood one more complexity of him that I hadn't understood. That we can care for each other, that there are jobs that we have to do, that we can't wait for somebody to come into us, that we can't wait for them to complete the paperwork. We can't wait for them. We have to do the work ourselves to make sure that other people get some kind of opportunity in life.
Just recently, in search of the man who had inspired his life's work with peers in the mental health system, Mo Armstrong took his video camera out to New Mexico.
You know, I had that kind of shoot from the side, and you know, he can't really, he's very old now, he can't leave the kitchen much. I've always wanted to thank you for being so good to me.
Well, I'm glad I was part of that.
I've tried.
A lot of guys.
As time goes on, I hope you're proud of me.
Incredible stroke of genius, which I would not have come up with, of inviting Mo Armstrong to be the keynote speaker to this meeting.
Dr. Robert Rosenheck, one of the originators of this project, first heard Mo Armstrong speak at a meeting of professional health service researchers.
In his way, you know, talked about his themes, you know, that he didn't ask to have mental illness, that he's learned how to live with it. And at the end, they gave him a standing ovation, and it was just such a moment to see the clarity and the insights and the feelings of somebody who is 100% service connected for schizophrenia, and proud to say it. It's just so illuminating to see this whole other world open, which I was not aware of, but all my training would have kept me from seeing.
It's all about the energy and excitement and the hope that we would be able to begin to introduce into the VA system the consumer, the vet-to-vet model of care.
For me, this is the next sort of big frontier of mental health services research.
Let's go on with the reading on what will make our personal recovery plan a success.
Okay. I think this is very important. This one right here, this next topic.
The mental health services world is increasingly talking about recovery and what that means, and saying that we need recovery-oriented services, but there's yet to be someone to define recovery or to measure it very well. There are some scales now that measure things like hope and optimism and strengths, and we've created some things about participation in meaningful activities.
Meanings and purpose, I think, is the key for stress to
When I do these groups, I'm helping the group.
Helping you, yeah.
Rich, who's running the group now, you know, the big joke was he wouldn't talk when he first came. And I always say to him, and now you lead groups. Who would have thought?
It was a big thing. I never talked. If it didn't have anything to do with buying and selling and dealing or anything else, I had no use to speak to no one.
What works for me is coming here every day.
And then learning and knowing that there are things that I could do, and facilitating was one of the things that came into my life.
Well, I mean, it's been around for probably as long as humans have been around. It's a form of sharing another person's journey, you know, and then they're surrounded by a community of like people who affirm and validate their experience. When people are in a one-down position, when they're powerless, they really lose that validation a lot of times. You know, we're shifting from a deficit-based to a strength-based mental health system. Integrating peer support in that system is a very positive thing, because that will countervail or counterbalance the people who see us as deficit.
Some consumer-provided mental health services are completely independent from professional services. Vet-to-vet functions in a way to better balance the work between professional staff and veterans.
I mean, I was clinically trained. I was trained as a psychotherapist when I first started this work. So I was trained about pathology, I was trained about symptoms, I was trained about all of the things that prevent people from having a life. And it was quite a switch to get a strengths-based perspective. It creates a sense of belonging in a way that without it, you can't get there as a system.
There are more ways than just one road. We can get to that same point. There's many roads, but once we come to that one point, we can come to an understanding.
It becomes very important to get to reestablishing some kind of meaning in life. And so the traditional Freudian notions don't really directly apply at that point in time. What may be more important is helping someone to learn that they can work again, that they can relate again. I think part of that is vet-to-vet, and that it helps people to reestablish meaning in their lives and hope.
There's a lot of vets out there isolating. I used to isolate a lot, and I was killing myself. And I had no meaning in life, and I didn't want to exist. Now they gave me an opportunity to share my experience.
The greatest asset we have in mental health are the people in our programs. I can't tell you how many people have come to me and said, Mo, I want to contribute something back to my program, to my system, to my care provider. What peer support does, the vet-to-vet program does, is give people the chance to do that.
Before I thought the whole world's coming down on me. Now I found out there's millions out there suffering like I am, but we can hold on a daily basis with our clinicians, doctors, staff, and our peers.
That way I'm giving back.
Sure. That's an excellent thing to do on the holidays, man. And I admire anybody who does that.
That's actually healthy. The more you get out of yourself and help others. For me, again, everything, it helps me.
And that's what Mo's Magic is about. I mean, people believe him because he tells the truth.
And I got that irritability too, you know.
He doesn't sugarcoat it. And when he's talking to, one of his peers, he's letting them know, hey, listen, buddy, don't tell me you can't get out of this rut. Because I know you can, because I've done it. Mo understands what that's all about and can convey that at a level that I could never do, that someone who works in the field could never do.
The outreach takes place in a variety of different common areas. A lot of people in the community mental health programs spend time now out of the office and in the common areas. But to make that kind of random encounter that's going to get somebody involved and engaged in a support meeting is going to take a lot more time kind of milling through the common areas.
She said, "You guys just get into a group?" I said, "It was such a good group. We had so much to talk about."
Yeah.
I was attending one of the other groups' classes, and they said that we were going to be holding a vet-to-vet group. And I said, "What's a vet?" He says, "Well, it's going to be veterans will be running it, and it'll be veterans talking to each other. And sometimes it's easier than to talk without doctors and everybody else there,
One of the guys that are in charge of, sort of in charge of running the meetings, he approached me the first couple of days I was here to tell me about vet-to-vets. And he said, like, I'm telling, come and sit down. And I told him, listen, I told him straight out, I'm not a talkative person. I'm to myself. My feelings are mine and I'm going to keep them. And the next day I went to the vet-to-vets. And I explained to him before I went that, listen, if I just sit there, no insults and no disrespect, but just leave me alone. And, when I walked in there, the second day I couldn't keep my mouth shut because people were talking about things that were hitting things to me, and I had to voice my opinion. So right away it worked for me, because I had so much tension in me that it started to come out.
My problem was that I wasn't with people who made bad decisions and then got better. So there was either two kinds of people in my life. Those that everything worked for them, right, and they put me down because everything worked for them and I wasn't able to live up with them. Or then there were these other guys that were just, or like people, getting trashed out more and more and more and more. And so I didn't realize there was this whole other group of people, this third group of people, that they were like getting their life together. Right. And if I kind of got with them, I might stand a chance.
It's just the bond of vet to vet, where I'm watching your back and you're watching mine.
We're in a strange transition with vet to vet. Many of the past techniques of mental health taught this kind of connectedness, or they taught active listening. What we try to do is teach authentic interest in the people who we're with. So we really want people to enjoy their time in the meeting, enjoy their time with other people. Then the connecting seems to fall into place.
Really, but it's going to be beneficial to you if you're hurting and you got things inside you that you want to let out in a good way, and somebody's going to listen to you, because not too many people want to hear it, but somebody who's gone through it will listen to you, and that's a big feeling. They'll listen. I don't know the word for it. They'll listen hard. They'll listen with sincerity.
And everybody has that. They know that nothing's leaving what's said in here.
All vet-to-vet classes begin and end with a reminder of confidentiality.
Everybody knows everything that's said in here stays in here.
The standard vet-to-vet curriculum at the Herrera Community Care Center and at groups in other states is based on specific texts, which provide structure to the meetings.
Okay, is everybody on? Open up to page 313.
Each group will have its own unique culture. Based on peer-to-peer texts, staff and vets combine the classes to best match the interests of the vets at their particular center.
The 5 groups that we designed were, one was the recovery workbook.
I welcome everybody to our afternoon vet-to-vet group. Recovery workbook. We are going to work out of our Pathways to Recovery book. We're going to be in chapter 8.
We know from those of us who have made a successful journey that recovery usually happens in small steps over a long course of time.
It's been 17 years now I've been in recovery. So I went through like 20 years before I relapsed.
The biggest thing for recovery is to understand your illness. Right? To have an understanding of who you are, and that the limitations that people sometimes put on us don't necessarily mean you have limitations.
It's actually facing reality, you know, dealing with the issues that you were afraid to in the past. Really didn't even have any idea what they were until they came up.
Number 2 was disability awareness, disability pride. Many people who have mental illness don't have a sense of pride, don't have a sense of awareness, unlike people who are blind or people who are deaf. How do we live with our conditions once we have this mental illness, and then we kind of share that as a form of identity? There's 5 million people in the United States with mental illness. That's a lot of people. So if we share these ideas amongst ourselves and learn to live with mental illness by the shared ideas and shared identity, that could go a long way to keep us stable.
You know, to be able to sit here and say, all right, I have bipolar disorder, or I'm manic depressive, and you sit here with a smile on your face. That's an understanding of your mental illness.
I think overcoming the negativity of the people that throw this stress on me is harder than me coming over my disability. My disability I deal with perfectly. I see the doctors, I ask for help, I go to meetings, I don't drink, I don't drug, and all of that stuff. It's getting over the negativity that society has on disabled people is my hurdle.
The third one was Mental Illness Anonymous. Mental Illness Anonymous is based on the idea that people with mental illness have co-occurring disorders. We do drugs, or we're drunk, or we also have abusive behavior, and we want to change from that.
My first instinct was I had so much anger I couldn't deal with. I had to go outside and smoke a cigarette. And the first thing that came in my mind was go get a drink. And I had to stop him.
Right. You know, you don't want to do that.
I said no.
I'm glad you
I don't want to do that.
I'm glad you did, sis.
I'm thankful that I'm here.
In AA and NA, I'm humbling myself all the time, whereas the Vets Center supplies me with freedom from alcohol and drugs and freedom like pride.
The fourth was a writers group. The idea of the writers group is very important because it deals with people writing their own stories and their own narratives.
First of all, I will pick up topics that will work on a person's most innermost emotion. It's very therapeutic to write it down on paper. And I'll pick up on a topic like homelessness, and the person will write all the pain that he's felt on the topic of homelessness. Not everybody is a good writer, and some will speak on it verbally, you know?
Because myself, I never write.
Yeah. And
when I first came through the program, I would never write in writers group.
though it's not mandatory to hand in the paperwork, if you're just willing to write it out or just speak about it in group, it releases the bottled up feeling. And we try to be respectful for everyone to at least get 3 minutes of air time.
When Sam's doing the writers group, we acknowledge by applauding, and I think that helps. The applause, it acknowledges that, it makes that, I know for me, it makes me feel good that, and I appreciated that they do that.
It's in a place where I can express myself in words, few words, that I never thought possible. And I started writing poems only because someone there was writing poems. I said, well, let me try that. So I've written quite a few poems since March. This is one of them called Self-Respect.
All of our lives are made of stories. I always think of mental illness as being an absence of time. Time doesn't pass for us. And so telling your story restores that temporal sense to, you start to go forward again because you're incorporating this meaningless, flat, whatever it was, into a story about you, in which you can affirm this as part of your identity in a positive way, in a way that's going to help somebody else. What could be greater?
And the fifth is wellness. But wellness just isn't also eating right or exercising. It's a combination of a healthy lifestyle. You know, how to kind of go to sleep, get some rest, talk about how we don't get too anxious, how we aren't in too many conflicts during the day, how to de-escalate, how to kind of rev down rather than rev up. I found out about this weight group up at the hospital, and I need to get
I think that attending the vet-to-vet groups and being a participant has got to be a good experience. I think facilitating a vet-to-vet group is way more powerful. I think that the people who attend, you'll get more distal outcomes. I mean, having role models, having hope, all of those things are important, but it takes a while sometimes for people to move into action. When you're ready for that action and you have the opportunity to become a leader, that's where some really powerful transformation can occur.
There are a lot of different ways that leaders can function to support the good of the group. The common denominator, though, seems to be the willingness to do the work.
I hated groups at the time. Somebody said groups, I ran. I didn't like sitting in groups. So anyway, Dr. Harkness and Mary Sprazza and Darla had a little faith in me, and I started doing groups, and I really, what clicked into me is a lot of things I heard in recovery was people saying that you don't know you really got it until you start giving it back. And I realized I was giving it back. Hey, I'm Rich. I facilitated in the group. You all know me? Dave Allen. We got a new guy to the group.
The peer facilitators are paid through an outside agency and subsequently are not separated from their peers by being viewed as VA staff. The Vet-to-Vet program includes a formal 4-week training program and apprenticeship for new facilitators.
Things we take for granted, how to set up chairs, you know, how to meet people when they come in, how to welcome them, how to tell them goodbye when they leave, how to run a meeting for 45 minutes, and then when it's over, and then you come back the next week.
Sit right over there beside me.
Their responsibilities include arriving early before each meeting, welcoming members as they arrive, remaining after the conclusion of meetings for additional discussion, providing individual support to any participant who requests it.
When we originally started, we sort of did it haphazardly. There was one person who would lead it, one person who, then they wouldn't show the next day, or they would show 2 times out of the week. So the staff would sit in the room, and just in case a veteran didn't show to lead the group, the staff would lead it. Then we found out that, the guys that weren't trained and just sort of coming in and haphazardly doing the group, it wasn't working. They were relapsing, they were disappearing, they were not being responsible. We really needed to train the guys how to run groups, how to lead the group, how to start it, how to end it, how to handle difficult situations. How do you redirect people in the room when they sort of get off on tangents? What do you do if someone says they're suicidal in the context of the group? I meet weekly with the current peer facilitators. There's 3. We meet 45 minutes each week for supervision, and they can come to me any other time during the week if there's a problem or any kind of conflicts. What we found was the supervision was really key, but it's at the point now where they run the whole thing.
I mean, see, in the beginning it was, they didn't know if it was going to take off or not, but it's taken off and it's done well. We went through our problems where, somebody didn't agree with something somebody said, and the first thing they would do is run to their clinician and, what's so-and-so trying to do, man? He's not running a group like I wanted to see, But that all, fades away after a while. And right now, with Mary, it's like, she'll say I was like last week, I stopped in, I seen her. She said, is everything going okay? I said, yes. She says, well, we don't even have to meet. So, that's just how good it's been.
Probably in our field, what we've done is we've sort of thought for the folks that we work with and made all of their decisions. And I think here one of the things we do is we empower them to make decisions for themselves, to identify their strengths, to figure out what it is that they want. I think that's the big difference.
The other thing I learned is to stop trying to have control. It's a tough lesson. It's their group, not mine.
You know, whatever someone has, we teach them how to use whatever strengths and resources that they have internally to command their own environment. That's really what we do.
There are many times I feared that we would run, or I would run out of material. So basically my fears actually subsided because the more I do the groups, the more confidence I establish in myself.
I like to think about the things that I'm proud of and the things that I've done well, and I prefer not to dwell on the things that maybe I'm not so happy with. And you know, that's how we do well in life, is by focusing on our strengths and our successes and by marketing those, not our weaknesses.
To have someone come to you and say, as Mo has said to people, you have something to offer. What you have is golden. We really need what you have to offer. And here's how we can get you to give it. Here's how you can bring your gift. Is just illuminating for many people.
Because, I mean, I never see myself doing anything but what I did out there.
Yeah. Right.
You know, I mean, you do something for 25, 27 years, I mean, what else do you see? I said, well, you know, let me give this a try. And I found that on that other side of the table, I was doing all right, you know? And that's hard for me to say.
The advice I would give is to be yourself, to be respectful, to treat people, to treat the fellow vets like you want to be treated, to actually talk less and listen more.
We've come to make a good, team here, because there's been many times where animosity was there. Things can escalate, but being a team, we all have to work together to de-escalate it and resolve it, and not let it linger, where animosity is carried on for months at a time, So
one thing that I like, and the outcome of that is bad.
Very bad.
Okay, right. See what was happening is you had a couple of people that were passing through here, and these guys were like picking and choosing and then getting followers. Oh, well, you don't want to go to Richie's group. You want to go to Sammy's group. Well, you don't want to go to Carlos's, you know what I mean? Or
vice versa.
Yeah, however it was going.
You don't want to go to
okay,
Sammy,
now,
you go to Carlos.
What you got now is you got a bunch of guys here for help that are getting all confused. Because one guy happens to dislike somebody, or, being, when you're in charge of a group, whether it be me, Sammy, Carlos, and you step on somebody's toe because he's out of line, and he leaves with an attitude, and then the next day he starts building up his little bit of army of attitude. So not only did you just, and you might have done something as simple as like, hey Bonnie, now it's time for so-and-so to talk, we only got 45 minutes here. Oh yeah, well, it was like he told me to go F myself, so you know what, I ain't going no more, and I already talked to so-and-so, and he told me he was no good. It was brought out, and we said, look, this has got to stop. We got together, and
work as a team.
I think what was most important to me that I had learned was that I did have some value within myself that I could share with other veterans. That there is some kind of light at the end of that storm.
The Marine Corps, the heart of the Marine Corps is we never leave our wounded or dead behind. And so this tradition of self-help among veterans is, runs so deep in the tradition. We need to stand by to let a very powerful healing tradition do its work in our own system.
We will become soldiers again. This time around, we will become a recovery army, going off to get some peace of mind for others and peace of mind for ourselves.
The more people I help, the more guarantee of me staying clean.
Veteran helping other veterans.
Maybe that could be a way that you could get over it, what I'm talking about. You're not going to forget it, but it'll just help you through.
Starting with peer educator support groups.
And I appreciate the brotherhood that we have here.
We will call ourselves Vet to Vet. Once we were in service to our country. Now we are being called upon once again.
I mean, it's from the heart.
Never thought after my own mental illness that I would be of service to anyone again.
I'm back in the world again.
There is a place for everyone. There is a job for everyone. We're building our place, a recovery battalion. We have been called upon to come back to offer our service.
A way of saying, hey man, it's all right. There is hope.
An army of caregivers.
It's truthful. It's truthful.
We have started our journey together.
This is done because it's about democracy, it's about participation, it's about inclusion, it's about values.
Reaching out, I've had guys come up to me and just say thank you.